Are you guys ready? Yuichiro Ogino. I'll turn on the sound. I don't know if there's any audio. First playthrough. Let's go.
I don't. I can't.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's going to be a challenge to.
It's too good. It's too good. That's my feedback.
Yeah.
Make it worse.
Yeah, I mean, this one is incredibly good. I like when I watched this like 20 times trying to like find something nitpicky about it, because I mean, well, first off, I'll tell you what I love. The bit I love the most in this entire thing is let me pause it. The stop at the end.
Yeah,
the feet like the feet like catch the ground. Like you can see it like this foot right here like snaps down flat onto the ground, and the instant that happens, the rest of the body like pulls behind it. You know, starting with the lower leg catches up, the knee takes the tension, then the pelvis takes the tension, and then it ripples through like the entire body in such a way that it's just like those feet like click into the ground and the whole body goes kadoosh afterwards. It feels so good. My nitpicky thing is the hair. Everything else is so polished, and then like the hair just kind of like plopping here at the end. Yeah. I know that's kind of like a mean way to say it, but like it's actually like really well crafted in some of the other areas, like here, during like the fast motions, and then it's just a little bit weak in the points where the character is not moving so much, and so just taking like a tiny bit of extra time to get like some of these settle outs here to feel as good as this hair does during the like really fast dynamic motions would take this from like 99% to 100. It's like so it's literally that. It's like 1%. It's really, really well done.
Especially, I think, like those faster motions, it can be fluid, because that was my nitpicky note too. Like here, the hair feels so fluid through this whole like running motion.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that spin feels great, and it's that one last hit that it becomes like another limb flapping rather than the hair. That was my only nitpicky note too. Oh gosh.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah, it's hard to critique because it's so good, but in terms of wild riftiness, I think very small thing, obviously on the wrong side of the screen at the end, unacceptable. So. And with another thing, I kind of wanted the end part to last slightly longer. It feels like before the settle even finishes, the camera cuts, and maybe that was because of timing. But like before the hair even settles, like it's kind of over. How long is the last? I mean, when you scrub through it, it looks longer, obviously.
Oh, right. Yeah, no.
Hang on. Hold on, let me see. Yeah. Maybe I'm just being too nitpicky. I mean, I feel like I just wanted it to be there a bit longer, because for a Wild Rift thing, it's like everything is still moving and then it's gone. But
there's more frames too, technically, for the 8 seconds. So could have.
Like it ends on
he's
this
at 6
frame.
right now.
It ends on the frame when the hair's like sticking out to the side. It could have just been a little longer and had more of a settle to it, but that's just for Wild Riftiness. In terms of animation and creativity, it's awesome.
But I do think that is important. Like for something like, oh, it's the Wild Rift like intro style thing. If you're thinking about like, oh, I'm building something that would fit seamlessly into Wild Rift, looking up exactly what sort of the specs are for those kind of things, like sure, 8 seconds, but like where the placement is, like what the title looks like. Like for me, like I get really nitpicky, especially about titles and stuff like that. Just to go back one, if we're getting super nitpicky, if I can steal this for a second, like it's a character intro, so the title's here, but my brain was like, why is your text centered? It could be left justified to fit in this side. Like I get really nitpicky about, like, if we're thinking Wild Rift, I would get really nitpicky on that kind of stuff. And so being like, oh, for Wild Rift, the characters are typically like 90 all the time on the right side of the screen and ending on the left side of the screen. Like you have all this space. This is the correct sort of format, but it is on the wrong side. It's just, I do think that that's an important thing to think about.
Yeah.
Just take it into After Effects and mirror it and you're fine.
Yeah. We started with we started with the Adventure Time one, which has the best end screen in the whole thing, I think. You know, they went all out with that screen. So then when you have nothing or it's like slightly wrong, it sticks out for a Wild Rift contest.
Yeah, I agree.
It's really hard to give any feedback on this one, but I kind of noticed this before. Like, just this pose could have maybe shown a little bit of the gold a bit more here, just so you have like, so it pops out a bit more from the background, because with him being blue and the background being blue, I feel like some of these colors could have been used to pop the silhouette out a little bit more. It was something that we did on Wild Rift to make the shapes read a little bit more. Like, I almost entirely lose the pose a little bit here, but that's like nothing you can really do about. But like, I don't know if you could maybe have sort of shown a little bit more of those other colors, just so you see the pose a little bit more. And some of these landing smears, maybe you could have stretched the torso just a tiny bit more here, just to make it the timing a little bit nicer. Like, bring it up a little bit further to this way, just on the way down, so you have just a nicer little sort of bit of timing and spacing on that smear. Something that I did notice first time, like the way this foot is just planted down here, this might just be me, it's like really unnatural to do that. And I know it's like not a natural thing because it's like a spacesuit or whatever, but I feel just having it so planted here, like I love it when it's like, I would even say you could show more of the surface here, a little bit, like as it's skidding towards the camera, to make that pose a little bit more dynamic. And you could almost have it like spitting up gravel or spitting back gravel. I would think this could be a little bit pushed more. The fact that it's so stuck to the ground here, I feel is a little bit of a missed opportunity as it comes towards the camera. And then you can plan it down at the end. Even though I never like feet being planted down like this, because it's just, if you try and do that, it's really, really fucking hard to do that without like breaking your ankle. So maybe if it was just a little bit tilted up at the end here and a little bit more tilted up as it's sliding towards, I think you can push that moment a little bit better and make it a bit more dynamic. And yeah, watch the knee pop there, just as it. But yeah, overall awesome, very nitpicky. Just my thoughts on this one.
Beautiful. All right, I'm gonna move us along only because we still have 5 left, and we got a lot more. If that was like half of it, we have less than half the time. So I'm gonna move us along. Yuichiro Ogino, thank you so much for your submission. Beautiful work.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh,
super cool.
Stunning.
Really amazing.